In the year 1899, on the quiet shores of Long Island, a strange cathedral of wood and wire clawed at the sky. This was Wardenclyffe Tower, and it was Nikola Tesla's dream made real. A dream that hummed with a power that made the very air feel alive. The air around it carried a metallic tang, and the static was so thick you could feel it on your skin, a constant, ghostly touch. Storms seemed drawn to this place, gathering above the tower's crown like iron filings to a magnet, eager to share their fire. Inside Tesla's laboratory at the tower's base, the world did not behave as it should. Compasses spun wildly, searching for a north that was no longer constant. Clocks would stutter, skipping seconds, as if time itself was holding its breath in the presence of the tower. And then there was the man himself. Nikola Tesla was a figure of brilliant, chaotic energy. His eyes held a manic, captivating glow, especially when he spoke of the unseen forces that bind the universe together, of tapping into the very fabric between worlds. Chronicling this scientific marvel was a young, sharp-witted journalist. She had come for a story about a genius inventor, but quickly found herself the sole witness to something far stranger, a place where science was beginning to feel indistinguishable from magic. Her notebook filled with sketches of impossible machines and descriptions of phenomena that defied explanation. She felt less like a reporter and more like an explorer, charting a new and bewildering territory of reality itself. But with every experiment, Tesla seemed to grow thinner, more haunted. The journalist would watch as he muttered to figures no one else could see, his chalk flying across blackboards, scribbling equations that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. One night, the sky turned a bruised shade of violet. A storm, more immense and furious than any before, began to swirl directly above Wardenclyffe. This was no ordinary tempest, it was a response. The sky was answering the tower's call. Lightning, not in single strikes, but in a torrential downpour, hammered the tower's dome. The structure didn't just withstand the assault, it seemed to welcome it, drinking in the raw power of the heavens and crackling louder than ever before. At the base of the tower, the air shimmered and tore open. A blinding flash of light erupted, silencing the storm for a heartbeat. From this impossible, incandescent doorway, a figure began to step through, silhouetted against the raw energy. The light receded, leaving a man standing in the rain-soaked grass. He wore the tattered remains of a lab coat, his face etched with exhaustion and lined with scars that spoke of a long and terrible journey. He looked frail, yet his eyes burned with urgent purpose. Tesla and the journalist stared, frozen. The man was older, broken, but the face was unmistakably familiar. It was the face of Nikola Tesla, looking back at his younger self from across the chasm of years. "I am you," the visitor rasped, his voice rough with disuse. He raised a trembling hand, not towards his younger self, but towards the humming monument of ambition that loomed over them all. "I have come from a future you created. A future you must prevent." The young Tesla recoiled, a storm of disbelief and indignation in his eyes. This was his life's work, a gift of free, limitless energy for all humanity. How could such a beautiful dream lead to the ruin this ghost of a man claimed to have seen? The future Tesla spoke of a world not saved, but shattered. He described how the tower did not just transmit energy, but opened a gateway. A gateway to other dimensions, home to beings who saw humanity not as neighbors, but as fuel. As if to confirm his words, the laboratory grew colder. Faint whispers seemed to echo from the coiled wires and glass tubes, speaking in a language of static and dread. The journalist felt a chill that had nothing to do with the night air. She began to see them, then. At the edges of the electric light, in the reflection of a polished brass fitting, she would catch glimpses of things that did not belong. Shapes that were too sharp, too fluid, moving with an unnatural grace just beyond clear sight. And they were not the only ones watching. From the dark woods that bordered the property, corporate spies and government agents observed the crackling tower. They did not understand what they were seeing, but they knew they wanted to control it, to weaponize it. The future Tesla showed them glimpses through the unstable gateway. A world where his rival, Edison, had won. A sprawling city of soot-stained brick and iron, choked by smog and ruled by the harsh, direct current of industrial control. Then another, stranger vision. A glimpse into a reality where humanity had never evolved. A lush, primordial earth, where giant, bioluminescent flora pulsed with soft light under a sky filled with twin moons. It was beautiful, and utterly alien. The young inventor was trapped between his own magnificent dream and the terrifying consequences his future self laid before him. His ambition warred with his responsibility, and the weight of these unseen worlds began to press down on him. To prove his point, the old man showed them a burn on his arm. It was not a scar from fire or electricity. The skin was twisted into a fractal pattern, a wound left by a creature of pure energy from a dimension that had bled through the gateway. Despite the warnings, the night of the final, full power test arrived. The storm outside returned, a mirror to the tempest in Tesla's soul. The tower hummed with unimaginable power, straining at the leash, ready to open the door wide. Inside the lab, alarms blared. Lights flickered. Young Tesla stood before the master control panel, his hand hovering over the large, bronze lever that would unleash the tower's full potential upon the world, for good or for ill. "Don't do it," the future Tesla pleaded, his voice cracking. "You think you're opening a library of knowledge, but you're just ringing a dinner bell for the wolves that live in the dark between the pages. They will consume everything." Just as the choice seemed binary, utopia or annihilation, the journalist stepped forward. "Wait," she said, her voice clear and steady amidst the chaos. She held up her notebook. "I think you've both missed something. There might be a third way." She strode to the massive chalkboard, pointing to a complex equation in the corner, one Tesla had scribbled and then dismissed as a theoretical impossibility. "You were trying to build a door," she said, "but what if you built a filter instead?" Her theory was elegant in its simplicity. Don't open a gateway for things to come through. Instead, use the tower to resonate with the energy itself, drawing it through the fabric of reality like water through a sieve, leaving the dangerous entities behind. A new light sparked in young Tesla's eyes, not the manic glow of obsession, but the clear light of inspiration. He saw it. A way to achieve his dream without paying the terrible price. A way to save the world without destroying it. The future Tesla looked from the chalkboard to the journalist, his haunted expression softening with a look of profound surprise and respect. It was a solution born not just of genius, but of perspective and compassion, qualities he had lost long ago. With a shared goal, the two Teslas and the journalist became a frantic, unified team. Young Tesla, guided by the journalist's insight and his future self's warnings, began recalibrating his machines with a speed and precision born of renewed purpose. He bypassed the main lever and threw a series of smaller switches. The violent, chaotic hum of the tower changed. The shuddering roar softened, resolving into a single, beautiful, harmonious tone. A note of pure, stable energy. Outside, the furious crackling of the tower ceased. In its place, a soft, golden light emanated from the dome. It wasn't a violent tear in reality, but a gentle radiance that pushed back the storm clouds and bathed the landscape in a warm, serene glow. As the new harmony settled, the future Tesla began to fade. The terrible future he came from was unwritten, erased by a better choice. He gave his younger self a final, peaceful nod before dissolving completely into the soft light, his warning heeded. The storm broke, revealing a sky clear and brilliant with stars. The tower stood not as a weapon or a gateway to horror, but as a beacon of hope. A testament to the idea that true genius is not just about power, but about the wisdom to wield it correctly. Tesla and the journalist stood side by side, watching the peaceful glow. He was the inventor, she was the conscience. Together, they had navigated the razor's edge between ambition and responsibility, and had found a better path forward. The light from the tower was no longer a threat, but a promise. A promise of a future powered not by obsession, but by collaboration, caution, and the courage to listen. It was the quiet, steady light of wisdom, shining out into the world.